this footage and content that I'm doing now will continue to be a part of the live series of wow, that traffic, it doesn't look like it's getting better. No more lonely rides. So this will be season 2 of No More Lonely Rides. I want to create so much content. Tupac is my favorite celebrity, my favorite person in the world that's not mom or dad. So outside of mom and dad, Tupac is my role model. And Tupac, when he died, had so many albums. He had way more albums and music come out after his death because of his work ethic. And there was no social media back then, but people knew his work ethic. People saw him in the studio. They knew what he was capable of. They knew what he did. But with social media, it's no different. I want to have that same work ethic and that drive of, if I died, granted, of course you never want that to happen, but if I were to die today, I would have so much footage and so much quality content out there that my life will live on. I don't want my life to just be stuck on when I'm alive. When I die, I want my name, I want Family Dreams Fitness, I want everything that I touch, every part of my life, I want it to live on. That's why I write books, because once you write a book and you publish it, that's permanent. It's in the world. You can't kill that. These videos, YouTube isn't going to die down. There's not going to be a competitor to YouTube. YouTube put itself in a position where it's at its peak. It's at its peak. It will get better, or it may get better, but it's at its peak, and there's nothing that's going to top YouTube. I'm putting so much content on there, and it's free content, and some may see. It doesn't matter to me if somebody sees all of my content on YouTube. If you see one thing and you're inspired by it and that's the only thing you see, hey, that's cool. You spent your time. I actually appreciate you watching, taking the time out of your day, because you can be watching and seeing anything that you want to actually look at my content. So just looking at it, just somebody looking at it is a win or a plus for me. Just me getting it out is a positive for me, because as a society we hold so much stuff in and we're so phony when it comes to ourselves and social media. We talk a good talk, or we may put on a front for social media, but we don't get personal. We don't let out what we truly feel. We don't let ourselves make mistakes that are human. And that's a major problem in society, but I won't fall victim to that. I'm an open book, so nothing can be used against me. And that's another thing I was reading. I haven't finished, but another one of my idols and role models who I wish to meet one day. My goal is actually to go on the Breakfast Club. It's a New York radio station that's nationally syndicated, meaning they're stationed in New York, but when they record, it's on the radio like all over the country. And the radio station is owned by iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio owns hundreds of radio stations throughout the country. And the Breakfast Club, I started watching them when they first came out, like 5 or 6 years ago. And they were nowhere near where they are right now. Right now, they're on top of the world. All parties involved, DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God, they're all like doing great things. But when they first started, I enjoyed it because the quality of their content was good. As far as their words, what they were saying, their topics, their chemistry together was perfect. So I enjoyed it regardless of if the video quality wasn't there, or if things were a little bit unorganized, or if you can tell that they were new to their job together. They weren't new to radio or entertainment, but they were new to their chemistry together. And you can notice it in the beginning, because that's just how life is. When you're around somebody that you don't know or haven't worked with, it takes a while for you to pick up on the way that they do things and how to like fit in. But I loved it ever since day one. And Charlamagne is a huge example of somebody who also inspires me, even with what I'm doing now. He was a train wreck. He has a 100% honest opinion on everything, but he's also, there's a lot of things that he wasn't well versed on, and his vocabulary wasn't that great. He messed up a lot of words, just a lot of things. His face, he had like dark spots, a lot of things that are just flaws, but he owned up to those flaws, and he never let it like stop him from being himself. And with all of that, I say that now he has his own book, Black Privilege, I forgot the subtitle of it, but opportunity comes to those who create it. That's what it is. And his skin is smoother. He went to a dermatologist. He got the dark spots removed. He educated himself more, so he's well versed in a lot of different topics. He reads a lot. He pisses people off a lot because he's just honest. So he'll give you an honest opinion, and a lot of people can't take honesty. A lot of people get defensive if somebody's being honest with them. And I'm not saying if somebody's hating on them. A lot of people will hate on you and say things that aren't true just to make themselves feel better or just to nag at you and make you feel bad. But if somebody's genuinely being honest and you just don't like it, hey, you may have to take that advice because they're being honest. It's an honest perspective. Sometimes we view ourselves differently than what we actually are. And Charlemagne the God, he's one of those guys that when I bought his book, I've been waiting 2, 3, or 4 years ago. I was one of those fans thinking and wishing like, man, I hope this guy, he needs to write a book because he has so much good knowledge and wisdom, and he just has a bubbly personality that would be great for a book. And about a year ago, maybe a year ago, he announced that he was in the work, like he was writing a book and that it would come out in April. And I was super happy. I've been waiting on it. I forgot about it for a while, live life, because I have my own life to live and it wasn't focused so much on that. But then these past 2 or 3 months, the press for his new book they've like stepped it up, and I was like, man, I have to get that book. So I bought the book on its release, April 18th, and I'm on chapter 2. I only read 1 chapter just because it's hard for me to read, to find the time to actually read a lot of a book right away. But it's an excellent book to me because it's so relatable, it's so real, it's so honest, so raw, and it just inspires me to keep on going. So things like this, I had moments where I was contemplating, where I was thinking about actually listening to other people's opinion, and it wasn't a lot of people, but a few people's opinion about like my content output, and it's like, nah, I can't do that because the reason I'm here today is because I've been going non-stop, haven't stopped. I've been putting stuff out constantly. When I first started When Dreams Become a Reality, in the beginning, and this is me not even knowing how to do it, I would put out 2 or 3 episodes a week, 3, 4 episodes a week. That's a lot to do. And I got away from that because you have to live life. You can't always have the camera there. But I've adjusted. Now I've gotten better and I've adjusted to where I can have the camera around at a lot of times and it won't interfere with my actual reality.